Mr. Magnus Dietloff joins us. Magnus, is always such a treat to get to chat with you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure always chatting with you. It's starting to become a habit.
Which is good, right?
Yeah, it's really
we
good.
like it. We just need to do a championship edition with Magnus, and hopefully this year.
Hopefully this year, yeah.
I love it. Craig Alexander, how you doing, Crowy?
I'm doing good, Bob. How are you?
I'm awesome, because you know why we're good? We're not racing. We get to watch other people race.
That's right, and it's a tough course and meant to be cool on race morning, so it'd be good to be in the VIP tent.
Now, do you like St. George? Have you been here before?
I was racing here last year at the World Champs.
Yes.
And after a pretty bad race or DNF, I actually, I would say I didn't like it as much.
I've never had like a disastrous day here, so I always come back with good memories. And last year I was injured, so I was watching the race and watching Eric have a phenomenal day.
Eric had a great day last year.
Fun to be on that side of it and kind of watch the races unfold. So obviously last year I was dreaming of this year being on the start line, and I've gotten here healthy, and that's kind of what my goal was.
It was my first time I ever was at St. George, and I got to see this amazing moment. I was on Diagonal Street, with basically Sebi and Lionel were and still kind of are my two biggest heroes in the sport. And here they come down with like 6K to go, 3.5 miles, and they're like basically side by side. Not quite. Lionel was a little ahead, and I'm going like, this is so awesome, And yeah, I mean, you can't predict these things. And then suddenly, like, only 5 years later, that's me. I mean, only 5 years later, it's like the time scale is, you can't even come up with a time scale like that,
How long you been here?
I've been here over a week already.
Wow.
Yeah. I was thinking just getting some experience on the course, getting to ride my bike outside as Wisconsin started cooling off. So yeah, it's been fun. It's been my first time actually getting some training in here. So getting used to the course is good.
I really love this area. Like, it's a really nice course, and I think the course suits me.
You well.
Suits
Totally
me
suits
well.
well.
It's a strongman's course, and with the snow canyon on the last part there is some possibilities to do a lot of damage. So it would mean a lot for me to win this.
Changes in the course from the last time we had 70.3 Worlds.
Yes.
What do you think?
I think the bike course flows a lot better than it did in previous years.
Exactly what Jackie Herring said.
Yeah,
yes.
so a lot less out and backs and just a nice loop.
Yeah, the way it should. Exactly. Rather, it looks like they're trying to get mileage, right? When
Exactly.
you're out and backs.
Yeah, so I think it flows a lot nicer. And I think having the run course primarily downtown will make it a lot more spectator friendly.
Totally.
Yeah, so it'll be nicer for the athletes to have the spectators lining the course, hopefully.
Yes.
And also great for the spectators to be able to watch the athletes.
It's gonna be a really fast race, and if people know the run course has been modified a little bit, so we're going to see faster run times. So I think that 109.30 run bodes pretty well for St. George. Going to need to be, I think, even a little faster, but that's what the last few months have been about.
It's going to be like strategy, and like I think everyone right now is, talking to each other. What are you wearing? What are you wearing? Which is kind of nice. I like a little mayhem before a race, and it's like all your focus is drawn to what are we wearing than like getting nervous. So it's kind of cool and kind of nice.
What did you take away from your first Hawaii experience? Because there's a great feel in St. George, but there's the history that goes along with Hawaii, all the tradition, and being on that course. And here's Sam Laidlaw off the front. You're running with your boyhood buddy, and you're trying to bridge. That's pretty fun stuff.
Yeah, it is. It was epic to finally be racing Hawaii and Kona, and also to see the course and the Queen K and practicing towards it. But yeah, still feel like unfinished business.
Do you feel unfinished business? You want to go back
sure.
there sometime and win that race?
Yeah, for sure. I think all triathletes want to have that one in their bio.
When you have those type of races like Kona and like the 70.3 Worlds here last time, do you know early on that I'm on? This is going to be my day.
Yeah. So when you're feeling good, you usually perform good. But I have surprised myself while not feeling that great before also.
Yes.
So right now I'm not feeling like this is my race to lose.
Right.
I'm feeling now I definitely have my chances to win, but it's not like a guaranteed victory.
Of course not. Yeah.
And for the 7.3 I did a different tactics than usual. I went like all in on the bike and then survived a bit more on the run. And Kona, I survived a bit on the run, on the bike, and then went all in on the run. So it's fun to be able to play on a different tactics.
Yes.
So we'll see what I'm gonna do for this race.
Right from Kona, how quickly did you come here?
So I took a few days in Kona. I think it was 4 days of relaxing and easy training, seeing some things in Kona, and then went to St. George.
So you've been here since?
Yeah, and I've been here, like I went to Dallas, and then I went from Dallas to Kona.
Yes.
And then Kona to St. George, so it's a really long US trip, yeah.
Yeah, so you haven't been home in how long?
No. Yeah, it's after the race, it's I think 7 or 8 weeks.
Oh my God.
After Kona, I thought, 3 weeks to St. George, that's a lot of time. I will manage to put in some good training session and be specific, and then suddenly 2 weeks is gone and it's 1 week to race day, and I haven't really done any single specific session. It's hard to kind of get your head in the right space to really perform again a few weeks later. So it's been a challenge, but I'm looking forward to race.
The race this weekend, how are you feeling, and how have you recovered from Kona?
I feel as ready as I can be. Like, I'm a little bit more optimistic than Gustav, I guess, and hope to be able to take advantage of the cooler conditions.
Right.
Like, it seems like it's going to be quite fresh coming out of the water.
Yes.
The temperature in the water seems to be nice, but the first
air is going to be cold.
30-40 minutes can be good, and hopefully I can be taking advantage of the fresh air and just going hard from the gun, and just make sure that I stay warm there on the bike.
From a little town in Norway, in Bergen, the last 2 Ironman World Champions are from that town. What's been the response? You haven't been home yet, right?
No.
You haven't been home yet.
I haven't been home for weeks, yeah.
But in terms of the way people have reacted, or what have you heard from what's going on back home?
So my grandparents, they went front page in the news.
Your grandparents?
Yeah.
You weren't there, so.
No, so they had to use my family, yeah. But it was like a local newspaper from where my family is from, so they went, yeah.
So your grandparents on the front page?
Yeah.
That is pretty funny.
That was pretty funny. So they're proud back home.
So from somebody who trains with Gustav all the time, what's his weakness?
I like to say that he doesn't enjoy pain.
Oh, you do?
But
it looked like he enjoyed pain that day.
Yeah, he did. Or he was just very, very well prepared. But yeah, he doesn't have too many weaknesses. And like in this course, like, he's very technical, good, and riding well up and down the hills, and also having a good kick on the run. Maybe the obvious weakness is that he could be in the second pack on the swim, so we will see where his swimming is and who I'm surrounded by coming out of the water.
Well, look at like 2021, third at Clash Daytona, first at Ironman Switzerland, second Les Sables d'Olonne.
Les Sables d'Olonne.
Oh, look at that. Second at Elsinore, fourth at St. George. You're always top 5. And then 2019 was an epic year where you won 70.3 St. George. So you know this course, but you've been so consistent. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Well, it must be when you have races where you're like 20th, that must drive you crazy.
Yeah, definitely not what I'm going into a race for. But well, there's 2 reasons. I mean, first, the fields are way more stacked,
way deeper
now
than they've ever been. Absolutely.
But also that's not really the reason for me. I mean, I've clearly not been at my top level. I've had
injuries.
I've had a bit of bad luck, I'd say. I mean, I started with mono last year, which made me miss the Collins Cup.
Yes.
And then made me miss St. George here last year.
Right.
So, and that, took it really out of me. So obviously when you lose kind of that power on the bike, it takes months to come back.
Right.
So I was really motivated beginning of 2022 to really build back all my strength.
Right.
And it was going pretty well. And then after Ironman France, I get this stomach parasite.
Oh, that's right.
Which kind of was a small mono all over again, because I lost muscle, I lost weight again. And I felt like just kind of this bad luck came back.
So 2022, you had a third in WTCS race. You got second in PTO Open. That was pretty. I mean, you're used to heat, obviously, racing in Tokyo, but that was pretty hot.
It was, and I think so. I had an injury this summer, and so I only started running again the day of the Collins Cup. I had to pull out last minute. I was like hopeful, like I was fit. I just wasn't cleared to run yet, and I'm like, so like that was like the ultimate decision to pull out. And then finally, I was able to race Dallas, but we didn't really get to do the heat prep that I was in, like we were hoping to do, because it was the balance of like, okay, we're returning to run right now, and so like. My coach kind of told me, like, we're going to get you to the start line. You're not going to have necessarily the heat prep because we don't want to add too many variables.
Right.
And so Dallas was really just to prep me for Cagliari more so. And so I took away what I needed to. My swim was good, and then my bike was where it needed to be, and then the run, I took it out a bit too quick, and I definitely overheated.
Yeah, it's been a good few years. I feel like I have timed my performance well.
Yes,
so I've done
have.
really bad in some races that no one cares about, and then I do well in races people care about. So I feel like I'm hitting the good ones.
Speaking to the Santa Cruz 70.3 champion, the two-time Alcatraz champion, those were sort of the goals going into the year.
They were kind of coming into this year. That's really what I was kind of things that I had in my mind. I wanted to go win a 70.3, and it's been on my bucket list again to win Alcatraz ever since I won it. Wow, what was that now? 2015? 2015. Yeah, I've been trying to.
You won Beijing, right? That was a double.
Yeah.
That was a double year.
Yeah, like this year and that year feel pretty similar in that I just kind of feel like it's been a slow, very steady, just consistently good year, and I'm just riding the wave and having a good time.
My goal for the weekend is definitely to surprise myself as well out there. And get Canadian Open with my 5th place.
That was a huge performance.
Yeah, I proved that I belong there, like to the world's best on a big race. I mean, I've won a lot of 70.3 races now. We have good athletes as well, but obviously the goal is to win one of those, like 70.3 Worlds or the PTO Opens.
This is a phenomenal year.
I wouldn't say it's
you
phenomenal.
Wouldn't.
No. My last phenomenal year was 2019, and I won 3 regionals.
Oh my God!
I won North American champs, Asia Pacific champs the next weekend, European champs, and then came second at world champs.
Second at worlds to Daniela.
Crazy year.
Yeah.
And then Middle Eastern.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wins.
Yeah, and then I won Bahrain at the end of the year.
Yeah, which was big money.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, as always, and so yeah, it's not been a great year by my standards, and but in training the last like couple of months, I feel like I'm training like my old self again, and that's just like really exciting. And even if I'm not there quite yet, I know that next year that I'll be back to my old ways, which is finally exciting again.
The last 2 years I've been able to stay injury free, which has really allowed for consistent training, consistent racing, and I think for me that's been the biggest change that I've made. Other than that, I think I'm coming into these races with a different mindset, trying not to put as much pressure on myself. I think earlier in the sport, in my younger days, like I made every race almost as if it was my last.
Right.
And I think I got to the start line with so much pressure from myself that I was just crumbling. So I'm trying to relax and just trying to use every opportunity to race the best in the world, which this year I've had plenty. So this Friday really feels no different to any other race I've done this year.
For me, it's like really being consistent with my running is the biggest ticket to anything for me. And I'm pretty injury prone and have had health issues, through the last decade. But this whole year I've been healthy and not had any interrupted run training, which I think is really like my most important thing when it comes to triathlon. So I can go into a race confident that, there's a lot of races I've gone into, I don't even know if I can finish the run. And now I'm feeling like I'm fit enough to compete on the run. So that's a cool position to be in.
Well, and
have you done 17 Ironman?
Oh gosh, yeah. I think I've kind of stopped counting because I don't like to keep counting. It might be up to 18 now, 17 or 18.
Oh, that's right. Challenge Roth is probably in there now.
Yeah,
that's right.
I think it's 18.
18. 2 wins, 5 70.3 wins.
Yeah, I'm up to well, now that we've got the middle distance like Daytona, because I've won Miami.
Yeah,
I've actually got 8 middle distance wins and 2 Ironman wins, so 10 total.
Awesome.
You were racing, and I forget what race it was, a 70.3 race, and a multiple loop run course, and your dad was out there.
Yeah.
That was going to be your first 70.3 win. And there was a point on the course, multiple loop on a run, where you passed Dad. And you got to tell your dad, hey, I'm about to win the race.
Yeah, it was just like really, I was in my last lap, end of the last lap, and there was like a finish stretch where it was 500 meter, and just before he turned right into his, I don't know, what was it?
Second lap.
Third lap. I could still catch him and tell him, yeah, I'm going to win the race. And then, of course, it was pretty motivating for him as well. And he even, I think, won his age group as well. Yeah.
He won his age group and you won the race.
Yeah.
You had a great race the last time you were here.
Yes, I'd say it was very good. Definitely room for improvement. And Lucy kind of smoked everyone on the day. So hopefully there's a little bit more of a race this year.
For me last year, I just went as hard as I could the whole time and tried to be in the race as long as possible. And I ended up 7th, and it was like pretty shocking.
Last year was a grateful season for me because I was able to kind of take advantage of every single race, not knowing whether there'd be another one.
Exactly. What would it mean to you to win this race?
Oh, everything. I remember the distinct conversation when I was 11 years old telling my parents that I wanted to be a world champion. So it would be an 18-year dream in the making.
Oh, it would be like such a relief, I would say, for, everyone is working hard. And I really like what Chelsea Sodaro said after an interview with the PTO after winning Kona, that everyone is working hard, but not everyone is like getting their moment. Right. And I just really hope to get my moment sooner or later.
I just want to put together a good race I can be proud of, and if I have a gap on the swim, my main thing is to just not give up hope, because I know I can run these people down.
You can.
I'm back in really good shape, and it feels really good because it's been a little bit. So I just need to keep a positive attitude and kind of do my own day, regardless of what the other people do.
Oh, wow. I think I wouldn't be able to answer that question until it happened. That would be huge, but there's so many incredible women on this start line. I mean, like, there are a lot of women here that can win.
Absolutely.
And we'll just see how the race plays out. It's like I'm just extremely grateful to be on the start line and to get to race these women.
My goal for this race, fairly conservative, top 10.
Top 10 would be great.
I don't let myself think about winning a race.
Okay.
I just think about, the process and having a good race for myself, because you can't control what anyone else does.
That's true.
If anyone has a phenomenal day, and I just want to have a day that I'm proud of.
So Gustav's going for third in a row. Third 70.3 world title in a row.
I'm going for my first one.
Hey, you're going to take that away from him. That would be pretty
Hopefully,
nice.
yeah.
And this year I said, I've got 2 goals. I want to win St. George, and I want to go to Europe, and I want to sort of see what that's about. And so one of them's accomplished. Now it's time to accomplish the second one.